think of the energy transition, we're referring to the decoupling of human society from fossil fuels, which makes it easy to imagine as some sort of vast and distant undertaking, far-off cities dismantling their coal plants or silhouettes of wind turbines. But in actuality, we're all involved. Within my lifetime, it's likely we'll cross the 1.5 degrees Celsius increase, which is considered the threshold for human life as we know it. It begs the question of our energy because it is what supports our lives. We'll have to consider decarbonisation as it relates to our municipalities, our neighbours, and our homes. I'm from sub-Saharan Africa, and we can comfortably meet our energy needs using the sun. But my work in Ireland needs to consider its geography. Given its position on the Northern Atlantic, Ireland can count on prevailing wind speeds that make it one of the greatest wind resources in Europe. Ireland's mandated by the EU to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050, which it will achieve by more than doubling its renewable electricity share from 30% to 70% by 2030. In less than a decade, it's a very substantial undertaking. Most of us can agree that switching our power dependency is a good thing, perhaps even very necessary, but we often see reservations emerging from local communities that are told that a wind turbine will be set up in their area. This is often when a foreign developer stretches the scale of that project into the millions of euros. We know from recent surveys that 84% of the Irish public is in favour of wind energy, and 94% prefer projects that are owned by locals. But some people remain strongly against, and it's important to understand why instead of simply brushing that aside. It's not simply about local attitudes, but also politics and local market economics. My research asks whether there is a financial means for a just transition. And by just transition, I mean one in which local communities are given a seat at the table. The EU has a significant challenge. It needs to balance competitive market behaviours with the needs of local residents. Competitive markets tend to race to the lowest price possible, which can be really useful in funding and hastening an energy transition. But this is often prohibitive for local communities. Getting the balance right is important for society because we need both local justice and technologies that can perform on price. My focus is on the financial perspective. I'll be using mapped planning data and surveys involving conjoint analysis and choice experiments to look at the developers involved in onshore wind projects, as well as those locals impacted within 2 kilometres of a turbine. The results of a third survey involving 2,000 Irish households will be useful in understanding the financial perspective and how these play out in the public space. Renewable energy needs to be fairly balanced. On the one hand, there's the benefits to broader society, and on the other, there's local communities that have to shoulder the burdens. Germany and Denmark have shown us just how central grassroots citizen energy projects can be to decarbonisation. I'm interested in whether there is an economically fair transition, and if so, what it looks like.